What's up, everyone? Happy Football Friday. It is college football season, y'all, and three-peat season as well. Go Dogs. Um, we had college football week one kickoff last night. Bunch of games going on in both the FBS and the FCS. Uh, we will look at a couple of the FBS games that most important ones from last night anyways, and then we'll get through some news. We got you covered on all the practice squad happenings around the NFL, and then we'll get you our picks for college football week one. So let's get rolling with last night's games. So starting off, we had UCF boat racing Kent State at the bounce house. Um, John Rice Plumley was pretty good. 22 of 30, 73.3%, 281 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks, though. Kind of put a little damper on his night, anyways, but great on the ground. 8 carries, 90 yards, a touchdown. He was electric running the ball. Just got to get those turnovers cleaned up for next week. After him, Timmy McLean came in to the fourth quarter, 3 of 5, passing 60%, 53 yards, 2 carries, 21 yards for the USF transfer there. Kent State's Michael Alamo was the starting quarterback for the Flashes, 12 of 31, 38.7%, 145 yards, 1 pick, 7 carries, 23 yards. UCF running back Johnny Richardson led the game in rushing, 12 carries, 100 yards, even 2 receptions, 10 yards. So solid night for Richardson. RJ Harvey scored twice, once on the ground, 10 carries, 84 yards, and a touchdown, and a 50-yard receiving touchdown as well. Demarcus Bowman for the Golden Knights also getting a touchdown on the ground, as did running backs Jordan McDonald and Mark Anthony Richards. UCF wide receiver Xavier Townsend led the game in receiving, 5 catches, 81 yards, a touchdown, and 1 carry for 28 yards. And also the other touchdown reception on the night was Golden Knights tight end Alec Holler. Defensive player of the game, I'm going to go with the top guy there, probably Kent State's linebacker Devin Nicholson, all over the field last night. 13 tackles, 11 of them solos, 2 tackles for loss. UCF minus 35. They covered. I hit on the teaser for them, and also hit the over on another teaser there. Over 54 easily by themselves. Georgia State getting a close game in week one, 42-35 over Rhode Island in Atlanta, where Georgia State plays. The Panthers had to squeak one out at the end and get some help from the Chains crew. Quarterback Darren Granger for the Panthers, 16 of 20, 80% completion, 193 yards, 2 touchdowns, 12 carries, 51 yards. But the guy that I was impressed with, now I didn't watch the entire game. I watched most of the first half. Kasim Hill from Rhode Island, the Rams, 24 of 40, 60%, 408 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 picks, 11 carries, 17 yards, and a touchdown. This kid was electric, and I mean slinging the ball all over the field. And I know some people are going to say, well, it's Georgia State, they're in the Sun Belt. They're one of the lower level teams. I don't care. It's still FCS versus FBS. And to lose by a touchdown at their place, that is a great game for Kasim Hill and the Rhode Island Rams, who are currently ranked as let me see here. They're in the 20s, I believe. Actually, no, they are, 21st, currently ranked in 21st in the FCS poll. So, again, a really solid team. Good. It's tough to say a loss is good, but this was a good loss for Rhode Island, in kind of springboarding their season in the FCS this year and the CAA, Colonial Athletic Association. Anyways, back to the stats in this one. Really impressed by Georgia State's running back Marcus Carroll as well. 23 carries, 184 yards. That's 8 yards per carry. 3 touchdowns on the night. 2 catches, 8 yards. Rhode Island running back Gabe Sloat. Decent night running the ball. 8 carries, 35 yards. But receiving, he was good. 4 catches, 47 yards, and a touchdown. Rhode Island wide receivers Marquise Buchanan led the game in receiving. 2 catches, 101 yards, and a touchdown. His running mate there, Katero Summers, 1 yard shy of 107 catches, 99 yards. And then you had Georgia State wide receiver Robert Lewis, also up close to 107 for 97 and a touchdown. And then Rhode Island wide receiver Darius Savage and Rhode Island wide receiver John Irby, Georgia State wide receiver Talik Williams, all catching touchdowns on the night. Defensive player of the game has to go to Georgia State corner Gavin Pringle. I'm not sure if he's Byron's brother or related to Byron Pringle, the wide receiver in the NFL, but he is my defensive player of the game. 4 tackles, all of them solos, 1 pass deflection, and a 21-yard pick six. Rhode Island, the Rams cover plus 18 and over 61.5 easily. 77 in that game. NC State, Wolfpack getting the win 24-14 at UConn. Tough game. I mean, I was so close. I thought UConn was going to get it done for me at the end. Took them live plus 7.5, but just could not get it done. Brennan Armstrong, UVA transfer, pretty decent in his first game. Throwing wasn't really the strong suit of this one for the Wolfpack, but his legs did the job. 17-26, passing 65.4%, 155 yards. And on the ground, 19 carries, 96 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns for Armstrong. Main transfer, Joseph Fagnano for the Huskies. His first start for UConn struggled a little bit. 14-26, 53.8%, 113 yards, 1 pick, 7 carries, 18 yards on the ground. It makes sense, though. NC State is probably a top 25 defense in the country. They're one of the better defensive teams, so it makes sense that Fagnano struggled in his debut as a UConn Husky. Someone that didn't struggle, though, UConn running back Victor Rosa, 9 carries, 99 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 catches for 8 yards. He was spectacular. Granted, you take away his 71-yard rushing touchdown, you're left with 8 carries for just 28 yards. So, a little skewed there, but still a big performance for Rosa in this game, scoring both the UConn's touchdowns. NC State's running back Delbert Mims III, he had a rushing touchdown as well. UConn tight end Justin Jolly led the game in receiving, 4 catches, 38 yards. And then defensively, a couple guys, all 3 of the guys we have on here, double-digit tackle nights. But I think I'm going to go with the top guy, UConn's linebacker Jackson Mitchell, 15 tackles, 8 of them solos, 1.5 tackles for loss, 1 pass deflection. But I do want to mention NC State's linebacker Peyton Wilson as well. 10 tackles, 8 solos, 1 tackle for loss, 1 pass deflection, and the game-sealing interception. UConn plus 14.5 they covered, and under 47.5. Yeah, how about them Gators? Number 14, Utah, beating up on Florida 24-11 in Graham Mertz's debut as a Florida Gator. Did not go very well, and I was super hyped that happened. Even though, I I thought Utah was really gonna just absolutely crush Florida. Didn't happen that way. This game was a lot less close than the score seems, but it's okay. Utah still got the win. They still covered, which made me happy. So, Graham Mertz did a lot of throwing in this game because they were down 21 early. It was 24-3 pretty quickly in the first half, but 31 of 44, 70.5%, 333 yards, one touchdown, one pick for Mertz. That allowed an 11-yard touchdown drive for Utah that got them up by 21. Utah started Bryson Barnes in place of injured quarterback Cam Rising, still working back from his ACL tear, but pretty solid. Him and Nate Johnson both playing quarterback in this game, both doing what they do. Starting off the game with a 70-yard touchdown pass for Bryson Barnes was not a bad way to start the game. 12 of 18 for Barnes, 66.7%, 159 yards, and a touchdown. 3 carries, 11 yards, and a rushing touchdown also. Nate Johnson for the Utes, 3 of 4 passing, 75%, just 6 yards, but he was more effective on the ground, 6 carries, 45 yards, and a rushing touchdown as well. Utah running back Micah Bernard led the game in rushing, actually tied in Nate Johnson there. But 7 carries, 45 yards for him, 2 receptions for 6 yards. Florida wide receiver Ricky Pearsall led the game in receiving 8 catches, 92 yards on the night for him. You had Utah wide receiver Money Parks catching the 70-yard touchdown reception to open the game. You also had Florida wide receiver Caleb Douglas catching a touchdown in this one. Defensively, got to go with the bottom guy there, defensive end Jonah Ellis for the Utes. 4 tackles, 2 solos, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, and a pass deflection. Utah, minus 5.5 covers and under 44.5. And this game, despite only having 23 points, was probably the best game of the night. I'm going to say that because Minnesota was down 10-7 for the majority of the second half after Nebraska executed a flopped trick play that ended with a Husker wide open in the end zone. It was 10-7 for a good amount of time, and then, Minnesota, or it was 10-3, I should say. 10-3. It's 3-0 at halftime. Nebraska got the touchdown and then got a field goal. And Minnesota was down. They were down 10-3 for a good majority. And then around 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, here come the Gophers. They get just a spectacular catch by Daniel Jackson on the sideline in the end zone on 4th and 10, mind you, to tie the game. And then it seems like Nebraska is going down the field. They're around the 50-yard line. And then Tyler Nubin strikes again, picks off Jeff Sims, gives the Gophers a chance with about, I think, a minute and 15 to go or something like that. They drive down, get about the 30 yards or so that they need to get inside Dragon Ketch's range, kicks the game winner. Gophers win. Nebraska, another 1-score loss. So that is the setup for this game. That's how this one went down. Love that Joe Clark, Gus Johnson were calling this game. Made perfect sense for college football week 1. Let's dive into the stats here, though. Minnesota quarterback Ethan Kaliak-Manis, 24 of 44, 54.5%, 196 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Jeff Sims, Georgia Tech transfer to Nebraska under new head coach Matt Rule now. 11 of 19, 57.9%, 114 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 picks, 19 carries, 91 yards. Super effective on the ground as he was at Georgia Tech. But the turnovers killed the Huskers' night. 1 in the end zone to end the first half. The one of the other three was the one I mentioned, Tyler Nubin's second pick of the night that gave Minnesota the ball back and led to their game-winning field goal. Nebraska running back Gabe Ervin Jr. led the game in rushing outside of Sims, 7 carries, 55 yards. And I talked about Minnesota wide receiver Daniel Jackson. Spectacular night for him. 9 catches, 68 yards, and that catch of the year candidate already. Touchdown that he had on the sideline, on the side of the end zone. Nebraska wide receiver Alex Bullock also with a touchdown reception, and then a whole host of defensive performances. But I have to go with the guy I've talked about twice already. Minnesota defensive back Tyler Nubin, 3 tackles, 2 solos, 2 picks on the night. He was the one that gave Minnesota a chance. And so there you go. And also want to mention, you can see down there, Minnesota kicker Dragan Kesic. I mentioned him. 2 of 3, 66.7% field goals in this one. 47 long, just missed a 54-yarder or 55-yarder earlier in the game. Pushed it just a little left, but got it right. He hit his only extra point. Got it right, though, on the game-winning 47-yarder. Nebraska, plus 7.5. They cover under 43. Knew I should have hit that under. Did not bet anything other than a couple teasers on the Gophers in this game. We have some XFL news. The Vegas Vipers are looking at relocating. Possible destinations include Nashville, Tempe, and Tempe and Portland. So that'd be interesting. I think Tempe would be probably the best spot because when you look at Nashville and Portland, Nashville, you already have the Memphis Showboat still. So do you really need or not? Well, I guess that would make sense. Never mind. I'm thinking USFL with Memphis. But yeah, I mean, that would rival Memphis, I guess, there. And they already have a stadium, and the Titan Stadium, Nissan Stadium, if they could get that deal done. Portland, that one makes a lot less sense to me because you already have the Seattle Sea Dragons up there. That one I got right, the leagues-wise. But you already have Portland up there, or you already have Seattle up there. So do you really need 2 teams in the Northwest is what I'm thinking. So I think Tempe would probably be my pick out of those 3. Anyways, college football news. What's new? More realignment. Why not, right? The ACC has voted to invite Stanford, Cal, and SMU to the conference in 2024. Puts the ACC to 18 teams now. So there you go. That is the realignment talk. NFL news, you got a bunch of it. Jonathan Taylor saga. The Green Bay Packers were the other team announced as being in on Jonathan Taylor. Crazy that they were the other team. I've talked to some of my Packers friends here in Milwaukee, and we've been kind of going through the scenarios of what could have happened had the Packers looked at a trade. And I don't know. There was a bunch of options. I mean, both A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones could have been moved. It would have made more sense that the Colts would be more interested in A.J. Dillon because of the age, and also that he's kind of similar to Jonathan Taylor. So that would have been my guess, even though it wouldn't have made sense cap-wise for Green Bay. But anyways. And I want to send my condolences to the Brandt family. Gil Brandt, legendary scouts. Considered the father of modern-day scouting. Passed away this week at the age of 91. He also was the creator of what became the 90s dynasty in Dallas. So, yes, definitely will be missed. And the knowledge that Mr. Brandt gave to the NFL and the years that he gave to the league, Hall of Famer, will never go away. And I'm trying to follow that path, blaze that path into, NFL scouting. So IR moves. These guys will all miss the first 4 games of the season after being placed on IR. 49ers wide receiver Danny Gray, Dolphins corner Jalen Ramsey, and running back Jeff Wilson Jr., Bears offensive lineman Tevin Jenkins, and Patriots wide receiver Tyquan Thornton. A couple injuries to note right now. The Rams head coach Sean McVay announcing wide receiver Cooper Kupp suffered a setback in his with his hamstring injury. He is now considered day-to-day. We'll see if he can make week 1. Guy that's not going to be making week 1 is Seahawks safety Jamal Adams after Seahawks head coach Pete Carroll announced that today. Couple releases. The Vikings, they waived wide receiver Jalen Reagor after not being able to trade him. Panthers waived quarterback Matt Corral. He was subsequently claimed by the Patriots, which we'll talk about them in a second. And then the Bills today released quarterback Matt Barkley from IR with an injury designation. Waiver claims. So this was the big deal that went down on cut day Tuesday, but a bunch of guys getting claimed here. Bears claiming Colts defensive end Khalid Kareem and Rams defensive back Quindell Johnson. Chiefs claiming Colts defensive back Darius Rush. Cardinals claimed Dolphins tight end Elijah Higgins and Eagles defensive back Kayvon Wallace. 2 big pieces for them. I think Kayvon's going to help the Cardinals a lot, especially he knows Jonathan Gannon's system already, being the DC in Philly last year. So that one I think will be good. I love Elijah Higgins. Unfortunately, it didn't work out in Miami. Hopefully he can carve out a role behind Zach Ertz in Arizona. Seahawks claimed Ravens defensive back Q, you're my boy Blue Kelly, 2023 5th-round pick of Baltimore. So Seahawks getting some DB depth there. And they also claimed Raiders linebacker Drake Thomas. Panthers claimed Saints offensive tackle Calvin Throckmorton, much needed depth there for Carolina. Browns claimed Chiefs defensive back Khalif Hayalasi. Texans claimed Bills guard Nick Broker. Colts claimed Cowboys linebacker Isaiah Land and Eagles guard Josh Sills. Rams claimed Steelers linebacker Tanner Muse. Titans claimed Bears defensive back Kendall Vildor. And I mentioned the Patriots claimed Panthers quarterback Matt Corral. Let's get to some money. We had a couple extensions going down this week. How about the Vikings just yesterday signing tight end TJ Hawkinson to a 4-year, $68.5 million max extension, $29 million fully guaranteed, $42.5 million total guaranteed, and he signed through 2027. Currently, he now becomes the highest paid tight end in NFL history, just above Darren Waller, $17.125 million per season. Much deserved. Love Hawk. I'm super excited he's on my Dynasty League team. Also getting paid this week, Dolphins signed fullback Alec Ingold to a 3-year, $17.2 million extension. Signed through 2026 now. Second highest paid fullback, or now he's the highest paid fullback, I believe, in the AFC. I think Kyle Juszczyk with San Francisco is still the highest paid fullback overall. Could be wrong on that. Don't fact check me, please. Other signings here, the Vikings, they signed Dolphins running back Myles Gaskin. Steelers signed Texans defensive back Desmond King II. Sorry, Jimmy. He did not go to Minnesota. Wanted to play with a team that has a chance this year. Broncos, they signed Raiders wide receiver Philip Dorsett. Bears signed wide receiver Trent Taylor and re-signed quarterback Nathan Peterman. Rams signed Broncos kicker Brett Maher. And the 49ers signed Seahawks defensive lineman Kerry Hyder Jr. was with San Francisco as just recently in 2020. Or 2021, I should say. Practice squad guys. These are notable guys on each team's practice squad that I saw. The Patriots quarterback Bailey Zappi, Malik Cunningham, and Vikings wide receiver Jalen Reagor. Broncos got quarterback Ben DiNucci and wide receiver Lil Jordan Humphrey. Cowboys corner CJ Goodwin and linebacker Malik Jefferson. Chiefs defensive back Deion Bush and defensive lineman Danny Shelton. Colts safety Ronnie Harrison and defensive lineman Al-Qadim Muhammad. Titans, they got Browns kicker Cade York. Saints linebacker Jalen Smith, wide receiver Jontre Kirkland, Houston Roughneck there. Offensive tackle Storm Norton, defensive end Nico Lalos, Seattle Sea Dragon, and safety Jonathan Abram. Bills, they got Texans linebacker Christian Kirksey and Chiefs quarterback Shane Buechele. Vikings got Bengals offensive tackle Hakeem Adeniji, running back Dwayne McBride, and wide receiver Lucky Jackson, DC Defenders. There you go. Corner Jawan Williams as well. Browns, Bears quarterback PJ Walker, wide receiver Austin Watkins, Birmingham Stallions, and Bears offensive lineman Alex Leatherwood. Ravens, running back Melvin Gordon III, defensive back Darrell Worley. 49ers, Steelers kicker Matthew Wright, running back Brian Hill, and defensive lineman T.Y. McGill. Bengals, Cowboys quarterback Will Grier and corner Sidney Jones IV. Texans, defensive lineman Khalil Davis. Jags, quarterback Nathan Rourke. Chargers, quarterback Max Duggan and Jets wide receiver Alex Erickson. Giants, linebacker O'Shane Eximenez. Eagles, wide receiver Joseph Ngata, wide receiver Greg Ward, wide receiver Britton Covey, and punter Aaron Siposs. Commanders, quarterback Jake Fromm, fullback Alex Arma, Cowboys linebacker Jabril Cox, and corner Tariq Castro Fields. Lions, they got safety Brandon Joseph and Titans kicker Michael Badgley. Packers, quarterback Alex Magoo and wide receiver Grant Dubose, Magoo, Birmingham Stallion. Panthers, offensive lineman Justin McCray and safety Eric Rowe. Bucks, linebacker Jose Ramirez, sixth rounder this year out of Eastern Michigan. Rams, quarterback Brett Rippon, running back Royce Freeman, offensive lineman Logan Bruss, and linebacker Troy Reeder. Seahawks, quarterback Holton Ahlers, and linebacker Levi Bell, Michigan Panther there. One workout to note, the Bills, they hosted Falcons offensive tackle Jermaine Ifedi. Let's get into our college pick standings. And yes, I finished last year, but not starting off last this year. I got one game over Logan and Jimmy just based off my 1-0 Lone Wolf. Got Louisiana Tech right over FIU week 0. Jimmy went 1-1 in his Lone Wolves. Got JSU right, Jacksonville State, and lost on Ohio against San Diego State. So let's see what we got this week. Super hyped for college football. We have a couple games tonight to talk about, and then we'll get to the full slate of Saturday games. So the first one we're going to talk about tonight, Aflac kickoff game. This one is at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. Louisville at Georgia Tech. New head coach Jeff Brom. I know my mentee told me not to trust Jeff Brom in season opening games. He knows that from his Purdue fandom, but Louisville is a much better team than Georgia Tech is. They have Trying to remember who they got at quarterback. They got Jack Plummer, Harrison Bailey at in the transfer portal, but they also got a guy like Isaac Guerrero from Wisconsin. They got Jamari Thrash at wide receiver, and Keon, or not Keon, from Georgia State though. Jamari Thrash. They got Joey Gatewood from UCF at wide receiver as well. So there's a lot to like, especially with all the transfers that they got. And I just don't trust Georgia Tech. I think it's that easy for me, anyways, in terms of these two squads. The losses, I think, were not as much as the gains in the transfer portal. Storm Duck on defense should help a lot. So yeah, it's a conference game to start off. So, we'll see. Haynes King, I think, is going to be the quarterback coming over from Texas A&M. They got Travion Coley from Louisville there. But they lost their number one receiver in Nate McCollum. And they got Dominic Blaylock and Brett Seether from Georgia, but I just don't see it, especially the first game. I think Louisville's the better team. I don't know if I would go the 7 that it's currently sitting at, but we'll see. We'll see. I just need plus 2.5. That's what I have teased for Louisville this year or tonight. So, anyways, total is 48.5. I am leaning under, I think. We'll see though. 7:30 ESPN tonight. Next one, Stanford, 3-point favorites at Hawaii. And yes, there is a lone wolf already. Yes, lone wolf. I was super impressed by Braden Shager and that Hawaii Rainbow Warriors offense last week against Vanderbilt. Stanford, I have winning, I think, 2 games this year, and this is not going to be one of them. So give me the Rainbow Warriors. I have Stanford winning 2 games. So, and Hawaii 3. So give me the Rainbow Warriors. I like them. I like that offense and Braden Shager. I don't think Stanford has it. And being on the road, even though it's not as far of a trip for Stanford to go from Cali to Hawaii, still a decent trip anytime you're going to Hawaii. So Braden Shager, Rainbow Warriors, Timmy Chang, and that Hawaii offense. Total is 56. I like the over. 11 p.m. CBS Sportsnet. I will be listening. And Saturday. Let's start it off here. ECU at number 2, Michigan. 36 points for the Wolverines. And it makes a lot of sense. Michigan should roll over ECU. No Jim Harbaugh at head coach, but it's not going to matter. ECU is trying to figure out their new quarterback situation with losing Holton Ahlers to the NFL. So I don't trust them at all. Michigan rolls. Total is 51.5. Get the over. Wolverines cover it themselves. 12 p.m. on Peacock. Virginia Cavs at number 12, Tennessee. Vols should cover this 28, I think. At least that's what I have them doing. So We'll get to see Joe Milton for the first time this season as the starting quarterback for the Tennessee Volunteers. For Virginia, it's Tony Muskett at quarterback. Yeah. Vols win, cover, everything. Total is 56. Give me the over. 12 p.m. ABC. That one's at Nissan Stadium in Nashville, home of the Tennessee Titans. Coach Prime is in the house in Texas. Colorado at number 17, TCU. We are all on the Horned Frogs. And, you know, I was back and forth with this one. I did take TCU minus 20.5. It's going to be Chandler Morris as the new starter after Max Duggan left for the NFL. So we'll see. He has had playing experience before, which is nice for the Frogs. And we'll see how much fight the Buffs have in their first game under Coach Prime. I think it might start close, and Shedeur Sanders, great talent, you know, Travis Hunter, but give me the Frogs and the 20.5 points. Total is 63.5. I like the over. 12 p.m. on Fox. Arkansas State, the Red Wolves at number 20, Oklahoma. Brent Venables' crew looking to get off to a better start and have a better season than last year, anyways. Total 35.5 for the Sooners in this game. I don't think they'll have any issue covering that. I don't know why I'm blanking on QBs right now. But Dylan Gabriel. Yeah, Dylan Gabriel should have a field day in this game. And not really worried about the Sooners here against Arkansas State. Total is 58. I'm rolling with the under, actually. 12 p.m. ESPN. Which Spectrum apparently does not have anymore, as a lot of people know. Utah State at number 25, Iowa, the Hawkeyes, 24 at home here. Yeah, I mean, this is we'll get our first look at the new offense with Cade McNamara at quarterback, Eric All at tight end. Brian Ferentz has a lot that he needs to do. 24 points per game, I believe it is. 7 wins for the Hawkeyes, I think, is the mark. So, sure, well you got to put it up while you can to improve the season average down the line. So, put as many points as you can, Iowa. And Utah State, unfortunately, is going to feel the brunt of that. Iowa's still a good defensive team. They should win this one handily in Ames. Iowa City. Get my Iowa teams mixed up. My buddy Colin is going to shoot me. Total is 43. I am rolling with the under. 12 p.m. FS1. Mercer, 1-0. Mercer Bears at number 22, Ole Miss. The Rebs getting... Let me see what the updated, because they do have, I believe, anyways, they should have the spreads out for FCS, FBS games here. And they do not. They will have it the day of, I'm guessing. So we still don't have a spread for that one. We have the spreads for tonight's games, though, with FBS versus FCS. Doesn't matter, though. Ole Miss should win this one. Mercer, solid win last week during week 0 as the number 20 ranked school in FCS, in the FCS top 25. But yeah, Ole Miss gets this one done, and Kiffin loves it. 2 p.m. ESPN Plus, SEC Network Plus. Another FCS FBS matchup here. Portland State at number 15 Oregon. The Ducks gonna roll this thing out here. Bo Nix looking for his he's looking for a win, man. He's looking for a Heisman type of season, but it's going to be a nice showing against Portland State. A lot of green in that stadium. It's going to be crazy, but yeah, Portland State wins easy. Or Oregon. Did I say Portland State? Oregon wins easy. I don't know what I'm saying. 3 p.m. Pac-12 Network. Big Ten matchup, number 3, Ohio State at Indiana. It's not going to be a great home opener for the Hoosiers, unfortunately. Kyle McCord getting the start for Ohio State. Heard Devin Brown will also play, so we'll see how that system works out. But I kind of like Indiana plus 30. Maybe Tom Allen can squeak a cover in. Not very confident in it, though. So I kind of am staying away from this game. Buckeyes should roll handily, though. Total is 59. I kind of like the under, but not 100% on it, though. 3:30 on CBS. The Big Ten on CBS is just odd. Boise State at number 10, Washington. We are all on the Huskies here. Going to give them a good test are the Broncos from Boise. So I think this is going to be a fun game. Talon Green for Boise State, Michael Penix Jr. for the Huskies. And, yeah, we should get some fireworks. I'm liking the over here, but not really confident on the 14 for Washington yet. But give me the over 58.5. Like I said, I think there's going to be a lot of points. Talon Green runs wild. Michael Penix does his thing, throwing the ball around. 3:30 ABC. JT Daniels, third time on the road at Texas in his career, third different uniform, has gone to Texas as a USC Trojan. He has gone to Texas as a West Virginia Mountaineer, and now he goes to Texas as a Rice Owl. And I don't think either of those first two times worked out for him. Don't think it's going to work out either. I could be wrong. Maybe the USC one did work out for him. Don't really know. But number 11, Texas at home, getting 35 points. Should have no issues with Rice, even though I do like Rice a little bit in their conference this year. Not going to happen against my projected Big 12 champ. Total is 59. Not really sure on that one. I might lean under, though. 3:30 on Fox. Tennessee State fighting Eddie George's. The Tennessee State Tigers on the road in South Bend at number 13, Notre Dame. That should be a 1-0 there. Irish coming off a blowout win of Navy in Ireland, week 0. Great performance by Sam Hartman. Should have another great performance here against FCS foe Tennessee State. So Irish roll, get to 2-0. 3:30 on NBC. Buffalo, the Bulls coming into Madison, number 19, Wisconsin. 28-point favorites at home. Should be jumping around pretty often in this one. I like the Badgers minus 28 to cover this one. Not very confident in Buffalo. Telling you guys, watch Wisconsin this week. Even though it's against Buffalo, Tanner Mordecai, Luke Fickell, Phil Longo, that's the triumvirate on offense. They're going to get it done. The Badgers defense is going to do what they always do and play tough. But I'm telling you, watch this offense to see what it will look like the rest of the year. in this game. Total is 54. Give me the over. Wisconsin Badgers over 330 FS1. Braylon Allen runs wild as well. How about give me a go dogs? No, UT Martin on the road at number 1 Georgia, looking for a three-peat, and it starts at home against the Skyhawks. Not going to be an issue. UT Martin, pretty solid FCS squad, but it's Georgia, y'all. So yeah, should see a good performance, confidence boosting performance for Carson Beck in the Georgia offense under new offensive coordinator Mike Bobo. So yeah, go damn Dogs. 6 p.m. ESPN Plus, SEC Network Plus. About the Wolfpack, Nevada at number 6 USC. Trojans coming off a really a blowout win of San Jose State last week. 38 points at home for Lincoln Riley and co. Not going to have to worry about the defense as much this week. I have an inkling that they'll cover. Nevada has really kind of gone downhill the last couple of seasons, but 38's a big number, so I'm not totally confident in that one. But the defense will get a good chance to play a lot better this week against a lesser quarterback in the Nevada squad than they had to face in Chevin Cordero. Total is 65.5. I also don't know what to do with that number either. It's kind of iffy territory. Not sure how many points USC is going to score, so not touching this game. 6:30 Pac-12 Network. How about SEMO, Southeast Missouri State at number 16 Kansas State Wildcats, defending Big 12 champs, starting off at home against an FCS squad. Should not have an issue here. Will Howard and co. getting a good start to the season. 7 p.m. Big 12 Network, ESPN Plus. New Mexico, the Lobos on the road in College Station at number 23, Texas A&M. The Aggies, 38-point favorites. I am actually kind of leaning 38 for the Lobos, plus 38. I think could be the deal here, but not 100% confident, so I won't bet it. But I would definitely lean plus 38 for New Mexico, and going to see how the Bobby Petrino system is looking with Jimbo Fisher at the helm there. Total is 49. I lean over, but again, just like the 38, not 100%, so not going there. 7 p.m. on ESPN. How about Jimmy's team, Texas State Bobcats at Baylor, 27.5. I have to put Texas State in here every week because Jimmy said he's going to be a fan of them. So G.J. Kinney in his FBS debut as the first-year head coach of Texas State should produce a pretty solid offense, I think, anyways, for the Bobcats. Not going to be enough on the road at Baylor. It's a tough place to play in Waco. So, yeah, give me the Bears. I would not be shocked if Texas State covers, but I am not personally betting it. Total is 60.5. Give me the over in that game. 7 p.m. Big 12 and ESPN, Big 12 Network, ESPN Plus. How about another lone wolf? UTSA Roadrunners, 2-point favorites on the road at Houston, newly minted Big 12 Houston Cougars. But they're not a Big 12 team yet in terms of talent. So I am rolling with my UTSA Roadrunners, Frank Harris, DeCorian Corley, and the rest of the squad, man. They have a crazy good amount of guys coming back, but Frank Harris is the guy that stirs everything up. I love UTSA, back-to-back Conference USA champs. I think they're the team that gets this one done on the road early. So give me the lone wolf alert. Give me the howl. And go Runners. Let's get it done on the road. UTSA, they've been my darling for a couple years now, and they're going to get it done once again for me in this game. Total is 60. Not totally sure about that one, so I'm gonna lean off that one. I would lean over if I did play anything though. 7 p.m. FS1. Mid Tennessee, the Blue Raiders at number 4 Alabama, Tide getting 39 at home, 38.5, whatever. I still don't know who the quarterback is. I haven't heard of a starter being announced, whether that's Jalen Milroe, Tyler Buckner. Can't remember. There was a third guy in that competition. Can't remember his name, though. But I am leaning at Blue Raiders plus 39. Bama historically does not cover these big spreads. So I like MTSU plus 39. Total is 52. I think that's over. That's an over game. 7:30 SEC Network. West Virginia. Mountaineers at number 7 Penn State. A couple-hour drive up to from Morgantown to State College, Pennsylvania. We're all on the Nittany Lions, and I like the Nittany Lions minus 20.5. I don't think West Virginia is going to have a chance in that environment. The new offense with Drew Aller at the helm, the running backs, they're going to run crazy. Nicholas Singleton, Katron Allen, and the defense is going to play like the defense always does. So give me 20.5 for Penn State. Go Nittany Lions. We are. Total is 50. I kind of like the over in that game as well. 7:30 NBC. How about the Duke's Mayo Classic? This is where College Game Day will be in Charlotte, North Carolina. Number 21, North Carolina at South Carolina. Jimmy going with the Gamecocks. Lone wolfing on the Gamecocks. So, sure. I mean, this is a big toss-up game. It is tough to pick this one. I'm just going with the better quarterback, okay? Drake May willed his team to the ACC championship last year, got blown out by Clemson, but I think he's going to be better this year. He's got a lot riding on it going into the draft next year probably. So I think Drake May is the better quarterback over Spencer Rattler, even though Rattler played excellently down the stretch against Clemson and against Tennessee. But give me North Carolina in this game, Mac Brown and co. This one is at Bank of America Stadium where the Panthers play. Total is 64.5. I would lean over, but I'm not 100% on that one. 7:30 p.m. on ABC. South Alabama, the Jags at number 24, Tulane. The Green Wave getting 6.5. I don't really like that line. USA is a pretty good program. So as much as Tulane has coming back, Willie Fritz, head coach, Michael Pratt at quarterback, they lost Tajay Spears, but I'm not so sure that USA doesn't cover that one, even on the road in a tough place. But I think this is going to be one of the better games of the weekend, and give me Tulane to win, though. Total is 52. I'm leaning under in that game. 8 p.m. ESPNU. How about the newcomer to the FBS, Sam Houston State at BYU? The Bearcats, 20-point dogs against the Cougars, newly minted Big 12 BYU Cougars there, and they're going to show why in this game. Unfortunately, on the behalf of Sam Houston, I like BYU minus 20. I think they're going to roll the newcomers, even though UTEP couldn't do that to Jacksonville State last week. Sam Houston also pretty much at the same level as Jacksonville State, both coming into the FBS this year, both pretty solid at the FCS level previously. But I think BYU is gonna have a nice night in Provo. Total is 46.5. I would lean over. 10:15 p.m. FS1. How about the Chants? Coastal Carolina at UCLA, 14.5 point favorite are the Bruins. And no Jamie Chadwell there at Coastal anymore, but it doesn't matter. They still have Grayson McCall. Tim Beck comes in as the new head coach. He was the OC at NC State last couple of seasons. Quarterback guy, historically, has coached offense and quarterbacks a lot. So I like the pairing with him and Grayson McCall. I think it's going to be a good time. That's why I'm leaning plus 14.5 for UCLA. This is reminiscent of the Jake Haener Fresno State game last year. I believe it was last year, where Fresno State and Jake Haener just willed them into LA and got the win 40-37 2 years ago, 2021. But this game reminds me a lot of that. For some odd reason, it's because of Grayson McCall that I think he can get it done. For some reason, they have never played, so there's no previous match total to see here. But I just think that Grayson McCall can go in there and have himself a game. I'm not saying they win, but I think they can keep it close. And total is 66. I'm going with the over. Fireworks in LA this weekend for UCLA, Coastal Carolina. 10:30 ESPN. And we have two games to talk about on Sunday. Number 18, Oregon State at San Jose State. We are all on the Beavers. I like San Jose State plus 16.5, though, because look what they did against USC last week. Oregon State's not as good of a team offensively, even though they do have now DJ Uiagalelei. Chevin Cordero is my guy, and I'm going to keep banging the table for him until the end of the season is over, even if San Jose State doesn't pan out like I think they will. I love Chevin Cordero. He's a great player, and I think that he can get this Spartans team to cover 16.5 against DJ Uiagalelei and the Beavers. Total is 55.5. Don't really have a play on either side on that. 3:30 CBS. And the big one this weekend. Number 5, Camping World kickoff at Camping World Stadium in Orlando, Florida. Number 5, LSU at number 8, Florida State. And another lone wolf here. We have another one. Jimmy is back. Back-to-back weeks with 2 lone wolves. So far in the show, anyways. Maybe we'll get another one. But, yeah, I think FSU, this is really a toss. It's kind of like UNC, South Carolina. But I think FSU is the better team overall. The loss of Mason Smith for this game, suspended, I think it's going to hurt LSU's defense. It's going to be a very close game, but I do think FSU squeaks it out here. Jordan Travis has a nice day with the big, tall receivers that he has. Keon Coleman coming in from Michigan State. Of course, they have Johnny Wilson still, and Jared Verse on defense. I think FSU wins a close one and upsets the Tigers in Orlando. So, yeah, give me Florida State. Total is 56. I'm rolling with the under. I think the under is going to be the play in that game with 2 very close teams. 7:30 ABC. And we got one on Monday as well. 5 straight days of college football here. Number 9, Clemson. 13-point favorites at Duke. Now, I have Duke winning 9 games this year. 9-3, I believe I have them going. So that's why I'm plus 13 Duke, but Clemson wins the game overall. I think there's too much talent for Dabo Swinney's crew, and I think that's why they get the win here. Cade Klubnik in his first full season as a starter after taking over late in the year last season. Give me the Tigers on the road, but give me the Blue Devils plus 13. I just think Riley Leonard keeps this Duke team in the game and keeps it close within 2 touchdowns. Total is 55.5. I kind of lean under, but I'm not going to make a play on that. 8 p.m. ESPN. And, of course, we are bringing back our FCS Game of the Week series like we did last year. This one on Saturday, there weren't any ranked versus ranked matchups. Most of the top 25 played last night, so there really weren't a lot of marquee matchups. I was thinking maybe Eastern Washington, North Dakota State, but I think this is a matchup of 2 teams pretty evenly matched, both just outside the top 20, the FCS stats poll, top 25. So I think this should be a pretty solid game on Saturday. Austin Peay at SIU, and look at that. What do you know? We have Jimmy's third lone wolf of the day here in the FCS Game of the Week. It's always a wild card to pick this game, but I'm going with the Salukis. I think they're a better team. They're at home. From what we've seen from SIU in the last couple of years, they have been a pretty solid defensive team, and I think even though Austin Peay should put up points, I think the SIU defense and being at home is going to give them advantage. Give me the Salukis in this one over the Govs. And that is the show for today, y'all. Thank y'all for watching. We'll be back next Friday talking NFL Week 1. It is back on Thursday night. We'll talk about that game. Or I will, on Labor Day. We'll have a show on Labor Day since I can't do one on Tuesday this week. But we'll pick the NFL kickoff game on Thursday. And we'll be back with that game recap next Football Friday, as well as all the college football and NFL game previews and our picks. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media at FAA Podcast on Instagram and Twitter. FAA_bets on X as well. FAApodcast.com is our website. You can check us out here on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, and Facebook, YouTube, and X. Also Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio, etc. Thank y'all for watching, and we will see y'all back on Labor Day.